This week, we finally get the Gorn attacking. Yeah, ever since that first trailer, we've seen the hints that there was going to be a Gorn attack somewhere. Now, I guessed Earth, but it's a colony of humans. And of course, as predicted, Batel is in danger. But what started up as a simple checkup on a colony has turned into this life or death situation when the Gorn unexpectedly attack. Possibly due to a rare occurrence of light and flares from the sun close by. Now, the crew of the Cayuga is, well, all but dead, and the colony, only a fraction of them have survived. Will Pike and the Enterprise be able to save them? Let's find out on Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2, Episode 10, the season finale, Hegemony. 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 And you try to figure out how that's really pronounced. I'm making a guess and gave it a shot. Now, this week's standout scenes were really hard for me to pick, but in the end, a lot of times what I do is after I finish an episode, I write down the scenes that really stuck in my head and made an impact. And for me, this episode, these are those 4 scenes. My first one is going to be Erica dive bombing into the atmosphere of the planet below. Yeah, the Gorn have made it all but impossible to get to Parnassus Beta, and, well, Erica is always up for the impossible, apparently. Well, she did want to go on an away mission. This might not have been the one she'd planned on. And in fact, she may come to regret it in the end. Now, even though we saw bits of this in the trailer, and I a lot of times won't include scenes we've seen in the trailer, the extended banter between Pike and Erica, and the fact that in the end he says that she was born for this, the cutscenes to just her glee and the fear of all the passengers in the shuttle, it all came together really well, and I kind of thought it deserved to be on this list. After all, Erica flies the ship. Really, any ship. When it comes to my second choice for standout scenes, it's going to be finding those humans that were hiding in a diner. Now, coming down to Parnassus, we find pretty much nothing is around, just blood smeared everywhere, and stray Gorn checking out to look for more to eat, as far as I can tell. Pike and the rest of the away team, it really looked like they weren't going to find anybody. And of course, for Pike, that means not finding Batel. Thankfully, they do find someone, and they are led to the survivors of this unprovoked attack. And of course, among them is Batel. Several colonists have also survived. And so for a moment there, we do have some hope that the colony won't be completely lost. For my third standout scene, it's going to be the sequence of Spock in space. Now, this whole sequence is actually fueled by his desire to find Chapel. Without that, he might not have been so hep on volunteering to do the flight through space to get the rockets in place for the saucer section. But with Uhura's discovery of where this transmission that was blocking all signals was coming from, and with Pelia's assistance, they come up with a plan that is feasible enough that, we get Spock flying through space and finding his way to that saucer section. The entire sequence of him getting to the saucer section, landing, placing the rockets, it was all exceptionally well put together. I realize that when we get a scene like that, it's not just the graphics, it's not just the physicality of being on wires and trying to get an actor in the right headspace. It all has to come together, and it really flowed well. So I really thought it deserved a little bit of a notice on this final review for the season. Really simply, this sequence, it had everything for me. That kind of brings me to my fourth standout scene, which again was just really well put together, and that's going to be finding out that Chapel is indeed alive. Now, when we first see her, it looks like she's knocked out, but we do see some movement, and eventually she's up and around and getting life support back online for herself. Then there is some hope as she sees the Enterprise through the porthole and tries to find a way to signal them to let them know that she is indeed alive. Then, of course, she sees Spock floating by, and she's again in hope that she will be found, but he doesn't see her. The Enterprise can't be signaled. There is a desperation as she tries to figure out what to do next. And I think Jess, she deserves a thumbs up just by herself on that. She always plays the part really well, but you could see her go from hope to desperation to, as she figures out that she could go out and hopefully catch up with Spock. Yeah, you can see her mind working there, and I think that Jess plays that really well. And so again, it was just a really amazing sequence, really.
And we've reached that halfway point. If you've enjoyed this video so far, please don't forget to like and subscribe below. You can always join as a Patreon or a member of this channel to get a little extra content, sometimes behind the scenes updates. And if you're a Patreon, you'll get these videos with no ads on the Patreon side. Of course, if you'd just like to do one little thank you, I always accept super thanks below. And now it's back to the video.
All right, and now on to those honorable mentions. My first honorable mention for this episode is going to be Starfleet's upgrade to the weaponry to fight the Gorn. Anything from the, freezing grenades to now their life signs can be detected by the tricorders. They even have phasers with a Gorn setting now. The entire collection in that case was exactly what we needed. Some upgrades to fight the species that we've been so concerned about. And quite frankly, the fact that Starfleet has come up with these new weapons means that they know that the Gorn, they're going to be an issue. They've been watching for them this season. Rather, this attack was part of the Gorn's plan or not. The idea that Starfleet has been watching out for them has really assisted our heroes in this episode. It's helped them be prepared. Now, of course, all season there has been rumors that somebody might be showing up from our precious original series. And Montgomery Scott, we got Scotty. He shows up in this episode, fleeing from the Gorn, having built a Gorn transponder to hide from the Gorn as he ran away in a shuttle that had taken damage. And of course, the only planet he could get to was the one that the Gorn were about to attack. Everything about this is so Scotty. Even the added, oops, I kind of went the wrong way and that didn't work the way it should have. His haphazardly built transponder, it was not a surprise to find out that he had found a technical way to get away. It also wasn't a surprise to find out that he was both Pelia's worst and best student. He always did like to cut corners, cause trouble. The guy can jerry-rig anything. Why follow the rules? Now, I do give a lot of outstanding comments to the graphics. And with Spock in Space, I kind of went there on this. But I also, for an honorable mention, want to give it to the set dressers, the set builders, for all of these ripped up innards of ships. Rather, it was the Cayuga or Scotty's shuttle. As they're panning through this poor shell of a ship, it's got wires stringed around and it's got stuff blasting on the sides, sparks are flying, it's dark, it's bright. Everything on those says, oh boy, this ship has been through a lot. And I always think that it's really great that we get these amazing graphics. But not only that, the set dressing and the way that the creators are able to construct sets that look so much more realistic than the ones that we grew up with. Again, it's the advance in technology and to create these things. And I'm really impressed with how things have changed and advanced just in the less than 60 years. Now, for my fourth and final honorable mention for the season, it's going to be the cliffhanger. Why do that to us? Don't they, the creators just sort of hate us? They want to torture us for who knows how long. Why? Well, with the strike going on, not only do we know that nothing's being written and nothing's going to be created, nothing's going to be acted out anytime soon. So what could have or would have been a premiere next year, who knows how long it could be. Now, with any luck, by the end of next year, we will get a premiere, but that would mean that by the end of this year, there has to be a new contract written up. So let's hope that everyone, the writers, the actors, and those producers come together somehow and make a contract that treats everyone fairly and takes into account the advancements in media over the last few years. Now, I'm not done with this episode yet because, quite frankly, there's a lot to still go through. Not only was the entire attack of the Gorn not foreseen, but we knew that the Gorn at some point might be getting together to attack, but not this planet, not this time. There were no signs, and something odd may have triggered it. Now, we know from previous episodes that with La'an and her brother having discovered Gorn's communication being done by light, the transmission of light, it's very possible Scotty's theory is exactly why the Gorn are here. Could that be a way to halt it? Another signal? Who knows? And we won't know for a while, like I said. By the end of the episode, we know that the Gorn are the ones who have transported away the survivors of the colony and the away team who were still on the ground. Now, with the planet now showing no life signs, we did see a small difference, at least I think I did, in the transporter beam. When they were being transported away, I thought, well, that looks more bubbly than sparkly, and wouldn't you know it, apparently a bubbly transporter beam is what we get from the Gorn, because our girl Erica, La'an, and Banga, they're all now, I'm guessing, guests of the Gorn, and it'll be interesting next season to find out how La'an dealt with this. Is she as fierce and steadfast while being reimmersed into a situation that she was in with her brother? It's one thing to be fighting to stay out of the Gorn's grasp. It's a whole nother situation to actually be in it. And I hope the rest of our crew fares well. I do have some criticism about the adult Gorn. I didn't like the design of him. Again, I grew up on the original series, so while I don't really expect them to throw some guy in a green suit and call it a Gorn, it almost looked too lizardy and not enough like, I don't know, sentient life. I get it when the youngins are running around and acting on instinct, and good on the Gorn for having the ability to try different codes, but I don't know. Doesn't look Gorn enough to me. Doesn't look humanoid enough to me. Again, showing my age, but I don't know. I just don't like the Gorn. I don't like the adult design for the Gorn. And on that note, I also wasn't really a fan of the hand-to-hand, no-grav combat with Chapel, Spock, and the Gorn. I didn't find it that interesting. I mean, it was cute, but again, just my taste. I didn't care for it. Didn't think it was that exciting. Yeah. Sorry. That said, now we've got Patel, who is in danger of becoming mom to a whole bunch of new Gorn. Of course, moms don't survive very long. However, we've got her in Chapel's hands, so I do see some hope in her recovery. If anyone's going to find a way to save her, it's probably going to be Nurse Chapel. Oh, and yeah, now the Gorn seem to be even more upset. They weren't really attacking and causing problems to the Enterprise, just the people on the planet. Now they seem to be pretty irritated with the Enterprise as well, probably for beaming people up off the planet. But yeah, Pike has to either follow orders and leave everyone behind and stick around and try to fight to get his people back immediately. I'll be honest, I think that the best choice is going to be to leave and regroup and come back. I don't think they're at the strength to take on all of these Gorn ships. But what do I know? I'm just a fan. I am neither a writer, a creator, or an actor, and I have no say in what happens next. I do hope that Pike regroups and does come back, though. I just think it'll give everybody a better chance of survival. Now, this was an incredible episode, and now so many of the Enterprise crew is in serious danger. So for the time being, support your writers and actors. Donate to help them maintain this strike until a fair deal recognizing the tremendous changes in media can be agreed upon. Now, I will be getting a review up for the musical, one which will be quite different than the other ones this season. I'm sorry for the delay. However, my watch party had a minor hiccup in the form of a projector that just would not project any copyrighted material, which means when I plugged it in to play Paramount Plus, it just plain wouldn't. So that put the kibosh on my watch party. I had a second plan, which was to interview people separately and have them tell me their favorite parts. Unfortunately, there were a lot less watch parties than I thought there would be, and finding people who had decided to sit and watch the episode rather than enjoy Vegas was a little harder than I thought it would be. Therefore, the musical episode review will be done, but probably not out until next week. I do have something special planned though, because, well, I'll show you later. But until then, please have a look at this video, which I created while I was in Las Vegas for a very good Trekkie cause. And until next week, I'll see you there.